Equations that have variables in the denominator are called fractional equations. These equations, when we multiply through by the common denominator, which includes a variable, which we've been doing right along, the problem with that is we end up getting some roots added in, which we call extraneous roots, that we really don't want. So when you solve an equation like this, the first thing you have to do when you get down to finding out what t is equal to is you have to put it back into the original equation and see if it makes sense, because you'll have to throw out the ones that don't make sense. So we'll find out when we go through here, because we need 3t would be a common denominator between all of these three. So to change this, this becomes, if I multiply this by 3 over 3, I get 9 over 3t minus 1 over 3t equals 2 times, I have to multiply this by t over t, so I get 3t. So then I get 9 minus 1 over 3t is equal to 2t over 3t. Well, if two fractions are exactly alike and they have the same denominator and they're equal, I can set the numerators equal to each other and forget about the denominators now. So 9 minus 1 equals 2t. Gives us 8 equals 2t, or t is equal to 4. In this particular case, I have one root that I come down to the bottom of, and so 3/4, I go back and check, is 3/4 minus 1 over 3 times 4 is 12, minus 1, 12, equal to 2/3. So I basically go back and check this. Well, if I want to change this, this is 9/12 minus 1/12. Is that equal, in fact, to 8/12? Yes, it is, and it checks out. Okay, in this case, our common denominator is going to be s plus 3 times s minus 3, which gives us s squared minus 9. So if I multiply both sides of the equation by s squared minus 9, I'll still have 0 over here. So I will get 2 times s minus 3 over s squared minus 9 here, minus, I'll have s plus 3 over s squared minus 9, and that will be equal to 0. Again, I have these two fractions with the same denominator. That means this numerator minus this numerator is equal to 0. So I can just say that 2s minus 3 minus s plus 3, notice I put the parenthesis in there, is equal to 0. This becomes 2s minus 6 minus s minus 3 equals 0, distributing the negative in front of here and the 2. So now I end up with 2s minus s gives me 1s, negative 6, negative 3 is a minus 9, equals 0, s equals 9. I only got one root, checking it to make sure it's not an extraneous root, which I don't think it is, so I get 2 over 9 plus 3 is 12, minus 1 over 6 equals 0. And yes, if I multiply this, I get 2/12. So 2/12 minus 2/12, and it works. So 9 is the root for that. If I multiply this one by t minus 1, over t minus 1, I get 6t minus 6 over t times t minus 1, minus, this one gets multiplied by t over t, 2t over t times t minus 1. That's equal to 1. So now I just have to simplify. These two, this minus this is equal to 1. So if I take 6t minus 6 minus 2t all over t times t minus 1, this is equal to 1. If you have a fraction and it's equal to 1, that means the numerator is equal to the denominator. Remember what I said, a over a is equal to 1. So that means that that numerator, 6t minus 6 minus 2t better be equal to t squared minus t. Now I can take the t squared, and I can combine all these like terms. 6t minus 2t is 4t. Bringing it over here, it becomes a minus 4t, so I'll have t squared minus 5t. And bring the 6 over, becomes a plus 6 equals 0. Now I factor this into t, 2, 3, and they both have to be negative, so my answer is t is equal to 3 or t is equal to 2. Now I take both of these answers and I check them into the original problem and make sure that that makes sense. Okay, for this problem you're going to have u squared minus 4, or basically you're going to multiply this fraction by u plus 2 over u plus 2. So you get u times u plus 2 gives you u squared plus 2u all over u squared plus, or minus 4, sorry. And this one you're going to multiply by u minus 2 over u minus 2. So 30u minus 60 over u squared minus 4 is equal to 9. So I have these two u squared plus 2u plus 30u minus 60 all over u squared minus 4 equals 9. Okay, these two are going to combine together right in here to give you 32u. Okay, this is really 9 over 1, and I'm going to write that because I now have a proportion. And if you don't remember proportions, a over b equals c over d is a proportion, which means that we cross multiply. A times d is equal to b times c. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to actually cross multiply the 9 times this and the 1 times this. 1 times this is just u squared plus 32u minus 60 equals 9 times this is 9u squared minus 36. Now we can take the u squared from the 9u squared and we get 8u squared minus 32u, and I have a minus 60 over here. It comes over here as a positive 60, combining with this negative 36 gives me a positive 24. And this now will be equal to 0. I can factor out an 8. Don't forget that greatest common monomial, because this would be a bugger to try to factor without getting that 8 out of there. 8 times u squared minus 4u plus 3. Now it factors into 8 times u, 3, 1. And our answers are 1 and 3, sorry. 1 and 3. So you need to stick those back into the original, see that they work,